Hello everyone, it is Foul Play here, and we are rounding off this modern league here. We are on blue-white Bogles here, and looks like we lost the die roll. Opponent's beginning with 7 cards in hand. This is sort of a risky one, but it's actually kind of good against certain decks, so I think I'm going to keep it and risk it. Some unfortunate matchups against Blue Tron and... oh, we're versing Mill, okay. Against Blue Tron and Goblin Charbelcher combo, so... And... Alright, so that's not too bad, honestly. Force might play a very important role here. We have option to Path and Stubborn Denial as well. So I guess they've only got one Hedron Crab. So they're milling us. Alright, so this is proper Dredge, not Dredge Vine. Man, I'm sure my opponent has me put on Neoform at this stage. Sure, I'm going to confuse them greatly here. Alright, well, Dredge. Our life total doesn't really matter. Let's shock it in. Let's go for the Path as well. We kind of need to draw land here, though. Alright, so we brick on land, and that's really bad for us, and we can't do much until we draw land, so... Yep. I mean, we got a couple of counter spells we're holding up, which is something, right? Ashiok, I mean, that doesn't seem very good for us, so let's force pitching Stubborn Denial, right? Maybe Arcane Flight. Alright, let's pitch the Arcane Flight. Keep the interaction. Might come in handy. Well, they've seen the Arcane Flight, so they might guess some sort of Hexproof Auras deck here now. Alright, we draw the land turn late. So turn 3, we're getting our Stalker down. It's not too bad. We can start attacking with Curious Obsession, drawing some cards next turn. Maybe even get Daybreak Coronet live as well. And opponents only put 6 cards in our graveyard. We've still got a lot left in our library. Hopefully their hand is full of Fatal Pushes. Sure. Alright, let's lead on Curious Obsession. I guess we cast Griffspoon as well. Yeah. If we draw a land, we can play it, hold up Stubborn Denial for 1. That's not quite amazing yet, but maybe it will play a clutch moment for us. Staggering Insight, so, I mean, card draw's nice, but we don't want to draw too many cards against a deck like this, right? We're just helping them. In for our first 3 points of damage, though. Those should hopefully be important. Field of Ruin. Sure. I don't know what they're holding off on, to be honest. Let's get the island. We can utilize it here. Go for our Staggering Insight. Now we get double card draw, assuming it resolves. So opponent's Archive trapped us, which is, I guess, okay. It's a few cards, though. I guess this Fraying Sanity is going to be pretty annoying. It just repeats the same number of cards with Milled Rat. Yeah. I guess they actually get an extra card as well, because the land entered the graveyard this turn as well. Alright, so we now have a live Stubborn Denial, which is nice. Alright, so 13 cards left in our library. Not ideal. I don't think we can crack this fetch land. Or else if they archive trap, they just kill us. How many hallowed fountains are in our grave? 3. So we've got 1 left in the library. So, assuming we resolve Daybreak Coronet, we have a 2-turn clock. So I should turn off all yields there and then crack this Windswept Heath. Oh, we don't have any left in there? Goodness gracious, that's awkward. Alright, so we will attack our opponent for 4. That's really awkward. Well, Ethereal Arm is a nice card. I'm not going to use Curious Obsession's ability because, quite frankly, we're low enough as it is, right? We have lethal next turn once we cast Arcane Flight, so that's something. And Stubborn Denial hopefully counters something clutch here. The hand can just be full of land and kill spells. 10 cards left in our library. We can't afford to lose them. Alright. So we go for the win here with Arcane Flight and hopefully get there. Alright, very bizarre game. Very bizarre game. Cling to Dust. So he's gained some life here. That's not ideal. Alright, we have our opponent on 2, and do they have it? Because I can't counter anything now. Alright, they're passing to us. That can only mean that they just blanked. Holy moly. Holy moly. Did we actually just get that lucky? Alright, he's hard casting Archive Trap here. Might as well have another look at our lands. See everything that isn't in there. So, if we let our opponent see this. Yeah, man. That Field of Ruin actually got us real bad. That's very annoying. Yikes. Okay, so Leyline's obviously extremely good here. Path is very much weak. Of course, Spirit Dance is kind of medium. Daybreak Coronet is kind of medium as well. Especially seems we're not killing them with life gain, right? It is mill, so we do have to bring in some disenchants for Ensnaring Bridge. Think I'm gonna take out my Daybreak Coronets, leaving my at least a couple of my Griffspoon, and then whether or not I take out one Griffspoon and my Core Spirit Dancer in that last slot is another matter entirely. I want to keep as many 1-mana auras as possible so I can enable my Stubborn Denial as quickly as possible. Like, it's pretty important. But also Core Spirit Dancer plus most auras is... Alright, let's go like this. And there's also a chance that Leyline helps our Ethereal Armor to Stubborn Null as well. Alright, great. So we'll keep this hand. This hand's got it going on. Double card draw and Stubborn Null. Yes, please. We do have 4 power in auras in our hand as well. Opponent with the Hedron Crab. Alright, I would like to see another blue land, if possible, so I can empty 2 blue cards a turn as opposed to 1. Otherwise, it might take a little bit of a long time for me to get my hand going here. Alright, opponent is gonna start hitting us. Here it comes. Another thing, like, you could board in Rest in Peace so that enchantment of theirs doesn't do stuff, but doesn't seem very good to me. They can also play the draw spell, which they draw 3 for 1 mana if a player has 20 cards in their graveyard. What is this? Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. Okay, whoop-de-doo. I'm highly concerned about this one, mate. Alright, Curious Obsession, Ethereal Armor. This is Ferocity enabled. Hopefully we draw a land here so we can Stubborn Denial. Alright, I'm gonna yes for now. Disenchant? Well, I guess that's not too bad either. Alright, let's bring on the hurt for our opponent next turn. Let's bring on the hurt. Well, there's a Mesmeric Orb. That's not the worst thing in the world. Great. So Flooded Strand seems really good. Am I playing around anything here? I think I'm pretty okay just to fetch into my Hallowed Fountain. Leaving it untapped because obviously I want to leave up Stubborn Denial the whole time, right? So fetch while you have blue mana active. I'll play another Curious Obsession and I'll play a Hyena Umbra, and then I'll leave up my Stubborn Denial, and if I draw a Force of Negation, I can pitch the Arcane Flight. And we're attacking for 8 here, so 2-turn clock, that's important too, as opposed to going super duper slow. I mean, not the worst. Oh, mate, I am countering this every day of the week. Get out of town, buddy. Get out of town. No way you're putting 13 in the grave for free there. Not happening. Alright, so if they can't kill us this turn, we attack for 8 and kill them. They could cling and gain some life as well. That's an important thing to remember. Oh yeah, they're gaining life for that silly enchantment. Well, we can still Arcane Flight and deal 10 damage to them as well. And they have put 2 Stubborn Denials in the graveyard. I think we still have 2 left in the deck. I can't remember if I had 3 or 4 copies. So I guess we have... actually, no. We have 3 Stubborn Denial in the grave. So maybe 1 left in the deck. A Crypt Incursion. Alright, whatever. Alright, opponent. You got me. Damn, Mesmeric Orb. Meal in my grave. Getting an Invisible Stalker trigger here. Oh, man. They gained a lot of life just now. So if I do another Curious Obsession, I get to draw 3 cards. I don't currently have access. Won't have necessarily have access to blue mana if I do that. For a counterspell. Although I don't think I have any Stubborn Denials left in my deck anyway. I might want to leave up Disenchant though. Alright, let's Curious Obsession and attack to draw 3 cards. I'm hoping that the counter magic is going to be very, very powerful for us. Great. Okay, excellent. We draw a piece of counter magic, so that's important. And throw down Ethereal Armor while we can. Okay, cool. So yeah, Visions of Beyond. That's the card I was thinking of. So if there's 20 or more cards in a graveyard, they draw 3 cards. They graveyard that, a Stem Dismal, and a Fraying Insanity. So would they be casting Visions of Beyond here if they had something else? They've got 2 cards in hand, access to 3 mana. I can just force this. I don't think I want to. I think I want to force the important spell. Like, because Mesmeric Orb, I'm untapping 4 things. I'm putting 4 cards into the grave. Alright, that's fine. Landfall. Okay, they're going to make me lose a few lands here. Yikes, so we're losing 9 cards there to these Hedron Crabs. And my opponent gained a little bit of life off it as well. We can still attack and kill them. We have got 17 damage on the board. Mesmeric Orb, so we'd be milling 8, so we can't let this resolve. Alright, so I cancelled my yields just then, so I shouldn't draw anything. And I think we just attack and win here. I guess I play an Arcane Flight, and it shouldn't really matter. Just in case I have some way to gain some life here. Alright, cool. So we got them. That's awesome. Alright, game 3. Man, those crabs did a lot of work that game, didn't they? I guess they didn't really cast many spells, though. So, yeah, so only 3 Stubborn Denials in my list here. Do you have to be afraid of things like Bontus as well? So you can't trim on Hyena Umbra. Just throwing that one out there for you all. Griffspoon does come back from the graveyard if I want it to, so that's not too bad. I could minus a core. Honestly, I'm pretty 50-50 about the Daybreak Coronet here. I think I'll leave it in the sideboard. I think 2 Disenchants are enough. A lot of guesswork here. I should probably be more familiar with the list since it did gain a lot of popularity. Alright, so no creature. We obviously can't keep this one. We will mulligan. Damn, I really wish this had a creature. This looks like a good hand. Alright, so mull into Oblivion. Joke's on my opponent. I'm winning the cards here now. Alright, so we'll keep this one. We're at 4 cards, so we need to put 3 cards on the bottom. That's pretty disgusting. So Bogle, Disenchant, and Force, and yep. So that's an extra 3 cards my opponent has to mill. This was all calculated by the Bogle gods, right? Okay. Ethereal Armor is an excellent draw. It's also important with our lands, they don't enable Archive Trap either. And we can turn to attack for 5, which is going to be pretty strong. Hedron Crab too, so I'm going to mill 6 cards here. Lame. A Grispen, which we can get back. Ugh. Okay, we have a new game plan. Let's get to 4 mana. Hard cast this Leyline and completely shut down our opponent's strategy. So attack for 5. Not something they can really block considering these creatures are their engine, right? Alright, so they now have Field of Runes, so they can enable Archive Trap, which is irritating for us. We search regardless, so that's pretty annoying for us. Alright, what do we draw? Give me something with a good clock. That's not something with a good clock, but I mean, it is a land. We might as well get the card out of our deck, right? We need lands to cast this Leyline. God, these crabs are so annoying. Go away, crabs. So obviously with Waterlogged Grove, we're not going to crack it. And we're basically hoping to draw a land which is not... Seafoam Island or whatever it's called. Not the Quickland. Oh, Seachrome Coast. Here it is. I've got one on the board. Smart thinking is smart, Michael. Alright. Man, I'm holding up like Force mana here. I really wish I was holding Force and then just like top deck land and Leyline. Wouldn't that be something else? Ashiok, Dream Render, gross. Grispoon, come back. No! No! Come on, man. Not like that. Alright, let's kill this Ashiok before it does stuff, right? Are you gonna chump block opponent? Actually, honestly, my opponent's on 8. I might have just been better off attacking them. Oh, he is chump blocking with the crab. That could be important for us. We still have 29 cards in our deck. I guess 19 now. They're getting life. Alright. No stupid enchantment, please. Alright, play this pre-combat because it buffs our ethereal armors. And then we can just attack our opponent for 7. Put our opponent to 3 or they lose their crab. So we have stabilized on turn 5, which in all honesty isn't too bad. We did mull to 4 here. And looks like my opponent's making the decision whether or not they want to chump block. Oh, they've got Stern Dismal. Alright, well, that's probably just going to beat us, to be honest. What a jank card. Why do they do that for 1 mana? That can't be fair. Return target creature or enchantment opponent controls to their hand. Like, that's just not right. For 1 mana. Alright, Frantic Search. Maybe we get an Ethereal Armor and we can attack and kill them. I see 2 in the grave. We can't do that. Okay, so that's pretty good. We can hold up Force next turn. My opponent can't attack me, can't target me with Ashiok, so I'm just going to go ahead and attack my opponent, put them to 4. Force was an excellent draw there. Alright, I'm going to let that one resolve because that's not important. Keeping Leyline on the field is what's important. Boom! Alright, we get there. We get the Consolation 2-3. Okay, so what did I think of the deck? So as far as the deck is concerned, I don't know why my sideboard's sorted itself out like this. Let's fix that up to CMC because that's just makes more sense, right? Alright, obviously the league I played the deck I played the league with had 2 Misty Rainforest and 3 Windswept Heath, and I rectified that mostly because, you know, like a burn matchup, I'm going to want to fetch out of basic planes, and having Misty Rainforest forces me into more situations where I have to fetch Shock. I guess in that mill matchup, sort of sucked a little bit. It makes me want to have the 4th Hallowed Fountain because, like, that almost lost us a game, not being able to fetch Shock out the final Hallowed Fountain, only having 3 in the deck. But, I mean, mill's pretty niche. We do have Leyline for them anyway, which is pretty sweet. I think the major thing I'm not happy about is not having all the copies of Force. Like, you saw, especially in those last couple of games, instances where Force of Negation would have been significantly better than Stubborn Denial. And, like, even against that Tron deck, like, Chalice on 1. Oh, Stubborn Denial does nothing. Force will do stuff. So I can disenchant with Force back up if I have Force instead of Stubborn. Which seems pretty significant. Other than that, my major impression about the deck, and I'm sure everyone at home is thinking it, is like, turn 2 Stalker feels really slow, man. Even if you're on the play, like, it feels really slow. I think maybe something like this can work in certain metagames. I think now that the Return to Zendikar come out, people were playing Jank the first, half a week probably. I think the list is sort of refined to something good now if they're on the new stuff, and the metagame seems a little bit more hostile to me. So I think turn 1 creature is probably more of the place to be rather than turn 2 Stalker kind of thing. Honestly, with Spirit Dancer, maybe it should be 3 or 4. I just was running into a lot of burn and really wanted these paths in the deck. I guess the paths could be shifted to the sideboard. These Stubborn Denials honestly do need to be Force of Negations. Unless you're in, like, a blue control heavy meta where they'll be countering the spell on your turn and you want to Stubborn Denial that spell to resolve your Daybreak, or Stubborn like the Cryptic or something after your Daybreak. Because you can, like, it's really sweet with Stubborn Denial, right? Because against a control deck, turn 3, you can, I guess, even if you're on the draw, they're holding up Cryptic Command, you can cast Daybreak Coronet pre-combat, because I am a little bit of a wuss sometimes with Bogles, and get into the habit of casting it post-combat, so I don't get 2 for 1. But with Stubborn Denial, you can cast it pre-combat. If they do look to, like, tap counter, hey, look, you counter their spell, they don't draw a card, your Daybreak Coronet resolves as well. It's all pretty massive, right? As for, auras and stuff, yeah, I think like combining like 6 flying effects are pretty good here to help your Curious Obsession hits land with the Bogles more often, more frequently. I'm not sure if the deck can really sustain 3 basic lands, if I'm being entirely honest. There were a lot of scenarios there where I sort of wish this was a Hallowed Fountain. So I might actually just try running list with like 1 less land there and 1 extra Hallowed Fountain the next time I run the list. Other than that, I think maybe you could look at going up to 3 or maybe even 4 Staggering Insights, but I think you could only do that if you were playing Bant. I think with the Invisible Stalker, you just giving yourself way too many 2-drops, like 12 2-drops, or I guess even then it could go up to like as much as 18 2-drops, and that's pretty gosh darn high. I think probably the biggest weakness about my list here today was my sideboard. I think it needs a little bit more tuning. Like, I didn't really have a very good plan against Tron, other than, like, hope to draw my counter magic, which didn't feel great. Like, normally I have Gaddock Teagues, and you're just like, boom, let's go. And Blast Zone is a big issue, so maybe Pithing Needle even. I guess Pithing Needle works against Goblin Charbelcher as well. For 1 mana, just name that stupid artifact, and they can't mill you out. And it's sort of a hot deck at the moment. Yeah, I think so. I would like also, if possible, an artifact and enchantment destroy effect in white that is a permanent, like Seal of Cleansing, but Seal of Cleansing's not modern legal, so I'm sort of lost for ideas at the moment now. I know we do have that blue-white creature, but it's not quite the same, because if they have 4 mana, they can still cast a 4 mana Planeswalker. They just can't, essentially tap for 2 mana and play non-creature spells, which doesn't really do that much. Alright, so here it is. I don't have it on Moto. For 2 mana, legendary creature, 2/2. Each opponent can't cast non-creature spells with converted mana cost greater than the number of lands they control. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast, counter it. Actually, maybe. Yeah, it's like a blue-white control deck that would stop Terminus, but it would also stop things like Force of Negation, which is quite appealing to me. Against Neoform, if they're looking to do like Summoners packs against Eldrazi-tron, sorry, not Eldrazi-tron, against Amulet Titan decks, their packs as well. Honestly, Lavinia might be good. Might be good. Okay, return to details. Might have a play with the sideboard. I'll be right back. Okay, so for the sideboard, this is sort of what I'm thinking. And I've currently got 20 cards here, so something's going to have to give and be cut for me to fit in everything I want. So I think Lavinia is maybe a little bit stronger than what I originally gave her credit for. I think I want to include her as a 2-op. I think I want to cut down on Disenchant by 1 and bring in 1 Echoing Truth. So that way, if we verse an opponent and they've got multiple Ensnaring Bridges on the board, we might not be able to return the card with Lurrus or anything, but at least we can bounce both bridges or bounce both chalices. And that could be very, very handy. I do think I want to try and make room for Lurrus. Because Lurrus, like, there were instances there where I wanted to get stuff back from my graveyard and I couldn't. And if Mill's going to be running around, I mean, Lurrus is kind of nice. I guess they do have, like, Ashiok, but, yeah. I still believe, you know. Rest in peace, not super in love with it. If I'm running Lurrus, I might want the Lantern instead, the Soul Guide Lantern. So might look to cut my Rest in Peace. That's nice because it's 1 CMC as well. Honestly, the Stubborn Denial might be overkill. It might not be. Maybe 2 Pithing Needles too much. Maybe 3 Path is good enough for the deck. Torporob's probably just a little bit too greedy. I guess I'll bring an extra Path into the deck and cut like a Grifspoon and see how that runs. So I might give this slightly more tuned and updated list a go for the weekend. After which, maybe next week I might be looking at Bant, possibly, because I'm not sure how in love with Stalker I am, as I was saying before. The awkward thing with Bant is, like, the land base is a little bit all over the place, and it probably will require me buying a couple of mana confluences to actually make it consistent, and there are a few tickets online. Last time I checked, they were like 30, maybe they went down or something. Last time I checked was probably like 4 or 5 months ago, back towards the beginning stages of the channel when Pioneer was a thing, and yeah, they were really popular card. So thanks guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the deck and the direction I've sort of taken it in here. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy. I think the sideboard looks better to me. Before it just seemed sort of like iffy, you know, like just whatever, this will do. Hopefully this is a bit more focused and a bit more relevant to what we'll be versing. Alright, thanks guys, I'll see you next time.